Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a dropshipping business for sale in the lifestyle niche. Created in March 2017, this business makes $12,039 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the business is 45053. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the businesses they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Neil, thank you for coming on here today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jake. Thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. Very eager to discuss this business with you. But before we get to the questions that I have for you, I want to go ahead and run through a little quick summary of the business. Again, the business was built in March of 2017, has a monthly revenue of $98,832, expenses of $86,792 to make for a net profit of $12,039, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the primary domain and all site content and files, social media accounts, and email list. Neil, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, sure, no problem. So I have an IT background, and this was started as pretty much as just as a hobby. And I learned about drop shipping and e-commerce, and I really want to get in this space. So decided to start one up, and this niche is a passion niche of mine. So I started the store, learned all about the Facebook ad platform, social media marketing, and pretty much, it took off within the first couple months of me running it, and been gaining steam ever since. Pretty much 18 months running now, and we're just getting stronger. So
now here you are, like you said, the business is gaining steam. You've been running it for 18 months. So why have you decided to sell this business today?
Yeah, great question. So I'm currently involved in 3 other businesses. 2 are in the non-compete niche, obviously. One's for print on demand. Another one is just a different niche entirely. So this one here takes up a lot of my time. So I'm really just looking to free up my time for these other projects I have coming up.
When you settled upon starting this business 18 months ago, why did you decide to go with a drop shipping model rather than something like Amazon FBA?
Right. So I've heard of the drop shipping model, and it was really attractive was you don't have to invest a ton of upfront cost for stock, right? That was the huge thing for me, where it was just easy to find suppliers, and there was really no high cost to really get this up and running fast. It was just the advertising cost out of pocket at first. And then really once you find like your hot products, you can even get your cost of goods even lower without actually holding inventory, which is super attractive for me.
You mentioned an upfront advertising cost. So can you go into a little more specific about that?
Yeah. So, really to get this store going, aside from having, your Shopify fees and your application fees, it was, paid traffic model. That's where the bulk of the money is spent, right? So our primary source is Facebook, Instagram, just started into the Google space, and Pinterest as well. So, but at the beginning, it was primarily Facebook and Instagram. So that's pretty much where, you're running all of your traffic from. So that was the highest cost to get this off the ground.
And to clarify then, so the business doesn't get a lot in organic traffic then. It's pretty much all paid advertising?
That's correct. Paid traffic. Yeah.
Have you explored doing content and getting going with good SEO and trying to drive organic traffic?
So the content, not entirely. Paid traffic seems, it was the easiest to really scale. SEO, I personally don't have enough knowledge in that space. That's why I was really just focused on the paid traffic. But definitely with the content. If you want to blog, write blogs, and get content out there, that's definitely an opportunity for this business. I just don't have enough experience to guide it down that road, or enough time, really, to be honest.
Now, you also have a pretty large percentage of your visitors to the site and customers being returning customers, correct?
It's around 15 to 20%, I believe it is. Yeah.
So this niche and these products then are really good at cultivating a loyal fan base and getting a lot of returning customers?
Absolutely. Yeah. So our Facebook community, we have a lot of people they're following the page. We're almost at 90,000 followers on the page. We built a really good community. We have we don't use any, purchased reviews. They all come from actual verified purchasers. They leave the reviews. So a lot of return customers come back. They have a good experience. Our shipping and processing times, we've got it down to a pretty good science. We've got it turnovers pretty quick, and we don't sell any cheap flimsy items. So it's good quality items. So most people have a great experience and they are happy to return. So yeah.
And then looking aside from the Facebook, then you also have a large email list of over 65,000 subscribers. How is that utilized for the business?
Yeah, perfect. So I actually hired a company to do all the automated flows. So we use Klaviyo email marketing. So we have an email capture system integrated right on the store. So if we drive traffic and they don't make the purchase that time, we have a method to capture the email. Then it goes input into the automated flows of like the welcome series where we'll give them like a coupon, we'll entice them to come back and shop and become a customer. And then in the back end, there's VIP flows, welcome back, win back campaigns, and then the once every on the holidays on a special occasion we'll send out content emails offering a discount. So that's been working really, really well for us.
Can you take me through a standard week for this business? You mentioned before the interview started, just to me, that you spend a lot of time on this business and you're the sole operator for this business. You don't have any employees or anything. So take me through a standard week and what all needs to be done.
Perfect. Yeah, great question. So every day I'm inside of, Power Editor, Ads Manager of Facebook, monitoring the campaigns, making sure performance doesn't, looking at the metrics. That's number one. That's the first thing I do usually in the morning. And then I do have one or two family members that do help with customer service. We don't get killed by them. Most of the common questions are, tracking, where's my item, or if they have questions regarding the product. So I would probably say maybe an hour or two, just answering emails, and then pretty much just going over the social media, Facebook, Instagram, the campaigns. So I personally spend probably around 20 to 25 hours a week. So it's not like, you need to spend 50 or 60 hours yourself throughout the week, but definitely want to keep monitoring the campaigns, make sure they're performing.
And I want to add a couple things there when talking about 20-ish hours every single week. First off, you're making $12,000 in profit every single month. It's not like you're working that much and barely making any money, but also a lot of those tasks like customer service and making Facebook ads, those could be outsourced to someone if a prospective buyer were looking at this and they wanted to make it a more passive business, because obviously the business has the cash flow to be able to handle some of that stuff as you are already making a significant amount.
Absolutely. That's a great point. So if you really didn't want to have, hands in the cookie jar, if you will, and you had someone to outsource the Facebook ads, or customer service has always been one. If I didn't have two people helping me, I would definitely you could pay a VA and get them. You wouldn't have to do any unless it was like a return or a chargeback, then you would have to probably, get in there yourself and handle that. But I mean, the VA can handle, 99% of your customer emails. And then the Facebook ads, if you want to outsource that and you had someone who is well versed in that, you could pretty much be hands off.
What do you feel are some of the major opportunities for growth for this business?
Yeah, the biggest opportunity I'm seeing right now is this is our second month of doing the Google side. So we have all the Google Pixel installed. We're currently running search, display, and we just started with the shopping campaigns, and we're starting to see some really good return on ad spend, between 3 and 4 return on ad spend. Our budget's still pretty low as, it's still optimizing, but to be able to really expand on the Google platform is going to be huge. That's a huge one. And then Pinterest as well.
Pinterest, you mentioned Pinterest there, and I also saw that you have already started working with Pinterest, correct? You have the Pinterest Pixel, you have your account all built up, boards and pins all set up. So how exactly would you utilize that? What kind of content and posts would you be making on the Pinterest?
Yeah, great question. So we did tinker around with just doing sponsored pins through Pinterest. So it's pretty much has an ads manager like you would Facebook. You would create, I actually had someone from Pinterest. They have a pretty good account team. So if that was an option somebody wanted to explore, you could definitely, I wasn't too familiar with the Pinterest. That's why I had someone from their team jump in and help out. And they'll advise on, what's kind of like the best route to take for your sponsored pins. And it runs just like a Facebook campaign where you would target certain keywords, people searching on Pinterest, and then as they're flipping through certain boards, they would see your sponsored pin, they would save it to board, and then they would, obviously funnel through your sales process.
Do you feel like there are any potential risks associated with this business that a new owner should be aware of?
I don't really see any huge risks at all, to be honest with you. I mean, with business, there's never zero risk with business. We don't know from one, that's why we see some months are amazing and some months are, they're good. But there's really no large risks. It's what I've done, I can say is everything is in place. Like all the heavy lifting has been done. All you really need to do is the site, I just want to add, the site converts anywhere from It's 4.5% on a site-wide conversion rate. So, I mean, we've had conversion rate optimization done. So all we need to do is drive people to the site, obviously in the right market, and they're going to buy. It's, get the target market there and the store is going to convert. So just different ways to generate traffic to the store, and everything runs on autopilot. So, I mean, there's no huge risk. Just, I would say any normal risk of running an online business or a business in general.
Speaking of general online business, you mentioned to me before we got on this interview that you have a few other online businesses that you've been running, and you've been running this one very successfully for a year and a half now. So what advice would you have for someone who wants to get started with online business?
The best advice I would say is, if you're new to paid traffic, is kind of separate. What I see these days is you have to get used to paying for the traffic. You have to get used to buying the data, and especially with Facebook, right? Like half the time, even though our pixel is really seasoned, you're still, you're buying data from Facebook every day. You're paying to see which ads are working, which products are selling, which interest is converting. So you have to be able to just, separate that. You need to see always a huge return when doing advertising, right? So some of the time, maybe return is not 3x or 2.5x like we want it, but we're gathering good data, and we know where to take our campaigns. We found new interests. We know how to scale the business. Another thing too is just, it's business. Some weeks, try not to look at it as a day-to-day saying, I was at, $10,000 in revenue yesterday at 1 p.m. and today I'm only at 5,000. The whole business is falling down. Just look at it from like a monthly or a quarterly basis. That was the most helpful thing for me, where it was, at the beginning, you're really looking at it like every day, hour by hour, saying, it's not as good as yesterday or wasn't as good as last week. But if you just look at the big picture, the grand scheme of it all, and say, okay, look, what did we do this quarter? And then look at your profit. And instead of looking at it, day to day, some days are amazing. Some days, you're breaking even. Some days you're making, amazing profit. So just try not to look at it under such a microscope. If that makes sense.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely, yes.
And how much support are you willing to offer a new owner during the transition period?
I'd be open to Skype calls. I mean, 30 days seems to be, if they needed 30 days, I'd be happy to do that for them, answer any questions they have. We can jump on a Skype call if they want to run through anything that they really don't know. I want to make this seamless, really, for the new owner.
Are you open to negotiating on something like an earnout?
That'd be something I'd be open to.
Awesome. Neil, thank you so much for taking the time. I do have another question for you, but before we get to that, I want to go ahead and run through that little quick summary of the business again.
Sure.
The business was built in March of 2017, has a monthly revenue of $98,832, expenses of $86,792 to make for a net profit of $12,039, which is generated on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are the primary domain and all site content and files, social media accounts, and the email list. Neil, given your expertise with this business, why do you feel like it is a business worth buying?
It's a business worth buying because all the hard and heavy lifting work has been done. Pixel from Facebook is probably the biggest thing. We've spent so much money in advertising that we have. The audience is built. The pixel is seasoned. So when you're running campaigns on Facebook, Facebook already knows who our target market is. We have all the email flows. We have pretty much it's a set it and forget it. We just drive traffic. It converts. You fulfill the orders, and that's it. I mean, it saves someone from starting, a brand from scratch. We have, we've risen to one of the very reputable name in the niche. We have a great community. So everything's already been built. All you really need to do is just drive that traffic.
Neil, thank you again so much for taking the time with me today.
Thank you, Jake. I appreciate it.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business advisors will be in contact with you, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.